From a super secret location deep within the mountains of Colorado, it's time to strap up, strap in, or strap on with your host, Shenanigans in One Shot. It's From the Ashes Radio!
We did it. We made it a whole nother week. Welcome, folks. Welcome to From the Ashes Radio on About Face Media. I'm super excited to have you here. Thank you so much. Sometimes some people call me Handsome Rob. Some people call me the Space Cowboy. But this man calls me Shenanigans, and I call him One Shot. How was your week, homeboy?
Dude, it was a week. Oh, man. Definitely a week.
Tell me, why? What's up?
Well, you've been out to the super secret location, so you know between the flooding and the hail and the windstorms and the tornado,
and basically the wrath of God.
My property is so destroyed that I've been working like 15 hours a day. I have not taken a day off for a while. Ridiculous.
When I called you that one morning,
getting accomplished.
You were working on a skid steer, and I'm like, how did that happen?
I moved more material, and I don't know. But
you make a really good Arnold Palmer.
I do. It's not having 50-50. It's just a little bit of limit.
I didn't look because I didn't want to see what you had going on.
It's like an 80-20.
I had a friend before I joined the Army. His name was Bob. And Bob and I would go to the gym together. And afterwards, he's like, oh, come on by the house. We'll make some protein shakes. Life will be good. Okay, cool. And this dude made these amazing protein shakes. They were so delicious. And one time I walked in the kitchen and that dude's got the Hershey syrup bottle and he's squeezing it into the protein shake. And I'm like, hey, Bob, you're kind of voiding everything I just did for the last hour, but thanks a lot, man.
Thanks.
I didn't drink any more of Bob's protein shakes.
I had a roommate for a while and training partner that was a biochemist person for like sports supplements. Designed a bunch of his own, had patents on stuff or whatever they have it for FDA. I don't know. And I remember him making shakes, and he'd mix up pre-workouts and recovery drinks, all like straight from like all sorts of bags of white powder.
That's not concerning at all.
It was great. One time he's making protein shakes, and he put half a dozen raw eggs on each one, and I was like,
"That's a lot of chicken babies."
Good Lord! Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of protein and cholesterol, and
we were in our 20s.
Yeah,
cholesterol's not a problem.
We didn't care at that point,
but yeah. Either way, so that was my weird one where I was like, "Hey, I gotta monitor what you're making at this point." So
Craig Stackaway says, "Good luck, nice shave, Rob. I feel like I need to come clean and tell the whole story." So the hot water heater is out at my house. We're getting it replaced. So I've been taking a lot of cold showers for the last week.
Is that why you've been taking cold showers?
It's one of the reasons I've been taking cold showers the last week, which, by the way, I've grown to, I don't want to say enjoy, but getting comfortable with. But Friday night, I was like, I don't want to take a cold shower. So I went to the gym and I did a workout, and then I was going to take a hot shower. Well, I was going to trim the beard up while I was there. So I brought all my razors and stuff like that, and I'm trimming up the beard, and the razor is not taking anything off. And I'm like, what the hell's the problem here? So I take the guard off, and went like this and just shaved the side of my face bald. And I was like, well, shit. Now I gotta fix that. So this is what we have left now. Yes, I know I look like Heisenberg right now from Breaking Bad, but that's okay. There's worse looks to have.
I don't think it's a bad look.
No, it's not terrible. I'm a little. Obviously, you're a goatee fan as well. So
the wife's a goatee fan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I haven't asked.
I'm a fan of the mullet. She's a fan of the goatee. I don't have a mullet anymore, and I have a goatee. But I thought, rather than just having a goatee, I'm gonna grow a super goatee for it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're going to go like oh, really? When I was in high school, I had one I could braid. It was pretty impressive.
That's kind of how I described, how Joshy Poo braids his beard before he trains?
Yeah.
I was like that level.
Yeah.
Just here.
He reminds me, he belongs in an Alice in Chains video.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
Riding Harleys.
Yeah.
Just being cool.
Yeah. He belongs playing guitar in Alice in Chains or something like that. So you said you had an extra special private car.
It's not extra special. I said I just have a surprise one, and it kind of goes from what I was saying earlier. Man, I've been moving dirt, doing this, doing that, trying to save money on it, and also it's not just my property. I take care of the neighborhood road, and so one of the neighbors has this huge dump trailer, and I'm like, hey, can I borrow that for one day so I can dump material in the ditch where it's eroded? I was like, I got, a skid out here. I got some things going on so I can get it fixed and not dip into the road fund. And
Yeah.
Anyway, so load up a couple, drop a couple, and I talked to him. He's like, man, you can have it the rest of the week. I scheduled it so you can have the whole week if you need it. I was like, shit, I thought I had it one day. I was trying to make magic happen, so I hooked it back up to the truck. It was like going to get some more done. And this was my wrench that I threw into my week a little bit. Folks, I did something I expect out of my teenage, help.
Uh-oh.
Don't pull a 14,000-pound trailer with the jack still down.
Oh. That will drastically slow down the operation and make it louder. That's
I made it less than 100 meters.
And when you get back there and you see what happened, and the thoughts, damn it, how did I do this? How did I do this?
Who did that? I would never have done that. Ever.
Everybody's
Here's
done
how bad. When I first started my diesel, even though it's a hot out, it takes it a while to start pulling well.
Yeah.
So I hooked it up and I started pulling down this hill into the road and up. And I was like, man, it's really kind of doggy. Just pulling a jack through the dirt. But anyway, so I snapped a picture of it, called my neighbor, and I was like,
Sorry,
hey,
a jack.
So I didn't have my coffee before I started working this morning. He's like, what'd you do? I bent the trailer a little bit. And he's like, yeah. So I told him, I was like, really? And he was almost happy. Do you know why? Because he gets to make fun of me for ever.
I've got 20 years of material right now.
That's my Carl. Look, and we can safety brief it too. Double check, triple check, double measure, triple measure, which is what I usually do. Otherwise, you end up wasting an entire day trying to remove a jack that's been into the frame and cut it out and get it welded.
This is why I will never be able to be the rancher that you are, because I'm like 1,000 miles a minute, and I am not.
You can't be with heavy equipment.
Yeah.
I'm 1,000 miles a minute all the time.
Yeah.
Drive hard, drive fast, die later.
Yeah.
But yeah, not heavy machinery. They tear up.
I sent you something earlier this week, and you didn't respond to it. It was recently discovered by us that former President Donald J. Trump listens to this show, and we had no idea. I thought that was super cool. No, you don't know?
I'm not tracking this.
Oh, well, I sent you the thing where he's like, hey, Donald Trump announces that when he becomes president, pedophiles will be eligible for capital punishment.
Yes.
And clearly he's getting that idea from my presidential campaign.
Yeah.
So he must be listening to this show.
There's no way.
Mr. President, we are honored to have you listening to the show. Let's work together. Please stop stealing my ideas. Yeah. Next is going to announce legalizing lane splitting for motorcycles. It's a great idea, Mr. President.
Okay, so I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking about the other thing we talked about. You're like, you didn't respond. I'm like, we talked about the other thing. Folks, we have a big announcement. We put it up on social media, but the VA, the glorious VA.
These idiots.
Don't say mean things.
Sorry.
How do we, how many slogans do we have about the VA?
A lot of them. None of them nice.
None of them nice. This show is based on bringing light on programs, organizations, things that help you out, because the VA sucks and is a failure.
It's the whole reason we exist.
Miserably. But the VA on their .gov page, the official VA page,
like the big VA, not Denver VA, National Department of Veterans Affairs.
Department of Veterans Affairs
highlighted us.
Highlighted our show
as one to listen to.
One to listen to, how great we're doing.
Clearly, they haven't listened to our show.
And that's what we said at first. But here's what I've been thinking. Wait, what if? That's what I came up with.
You hit me.
What if the person that, whatever reporter wrote the article, put
Michael
it on
something. I reached out to him.
Okay. What if he does listen to the show?
Oh.
What if He wants to be the only surviving employee of the VA. He knows how to get in with us. He's going to be the dude.
This is why you're going to be Secretary of Defense. This is genius. You are exactly right.
Like,
he wants to be the guy in the basement with the red stapler.
That guy's going to be president. He's going to abolish the freaking VA system that I'm in. It's terrible. I'm gonna have some job security. Look at what I did for you guys.
I wish you could have seen my face when somebody's like, dude, did you guys see that you got featured in the VA newsletter? I'm like, I did? For what? And he's like, your podcast. What? That's not possible.
There's no way.
And it was Cactus Jack, the tattoo guy, the guy that has the tattoo charity. He's the one that sent it to me. So, and sure enough, I opened it up, the link he sent me, and I'm like, how are we one of the top 10 podcasts that they recommend veterans listen to?
I sent it to my mom, and she just like kind of like didn't she did not respond. She just didn't respond. Like she got that the VA. Anyway, I had to call her. I'm like, Mom, did you realize that that's the VA talking about our show? And she's like, oh yeah, it's nice. I'm like,
that's nice, honey.
Mom, that's the .gov page. That is va.gov.
Big VA.
That we talk about all the time. She's like,
oh.
My mom even knows. She's like, you don't say nice things about them.
No.
I don't know. She's like, obviously that person doesn't listen.
Well, that's why it's so funny.
Or do they? Or what if it's because you used to work for the VA?
I mean,
that was not me trying to throw you underneath the bus.
No, well, no, it was my time in purgatory is what I call it. I get it.
But either way, like, let's say there's some veteran out there that's working for the VA, pissed off at the system, trying to help out the system. He's like, you know what? These guys rock. You know?
I assure you that if they heard anything, it was the episode where, do you remember that probably 6 months ago, they sent us a bunch of commercials and they're like, hey, would you please play these commercials on your show? And you were like, oh, yes, I will.
So I can make fun of all of them. Yeah, I'll totally play your stuff.
Department of Veterans Affairs, we're here for you in the untimely event of your death that we may have caused. Sorry about your gout in your big toe. Didn't know that was fatal. Were you looking at times and comments?
I was looking at times because
we got some good listeners. Adis is listening tonight. Hey, folks, if you have a motorcycle and you need it worked on, take it to Colorado Motor Service. Ask for Adis. That dude will hook you up. Who else? What were you looking at?
Does he work on things like yours or things like mine?
Things like mine. Hey, I have a Harley now. I don't ride it, but I own it.
What's in the driveway upstairs?
I'm never riding the damn thing, but it's for rent, by the way, if anyone would like to rent it. But yeah. So I can tell that you are anxious because you're excited about this upcoming interview. I mean, should we bring it on just a little bit early?
Bring him on early.
This is very rare for you. I like how you are right now.
Rare. I've gotten excited for some guests before.
I agree. I'm not as excited as you are right now, though.
I am excited for some. All right, folks. I found this organization because of you, actually, in a weird way.
Well, yeah.
I didn't have tickets to indirectly. George Strait. You called me. You're like, "Hey, you want to go to George Strait tomorrow night?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." And then I ended up sitting next to John and Cindy, who are Molly's parents and the ones that got this Molly's Miracle going. So Molly's Miracles. So without further ado, they're coming in. Good job.
And they're there. Look at that big smile. Howdy, folks.
Hi, Seth. Hi, Rob.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, can you hear us?
We hear you perfectly. And you look good, too. And that's the important part.
90% of the battle, right?
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on. So tell us a little bit about Molly's Miracles and just a little snapshot of that. Or actually, let me do this a little different. Tell us who Molly is and then kind of tell us how that turned into Molly's Miracles, please.
Great. Well, so first of all, we believe that when you learn somebody's story, you can't help but like them, appreciate, or connect with them. And so it was neat to connect with you, Seth, at the concert and just how we happened to be sitting by each other and you and John started talking. And so we wanted to share Molly's story. As you said, Molly's our daughter. She spent 23 very active years on this earth and made a huge difference in the life of so many. And she really, really made us better parents and taught us a lot of lessons, her and her sister Megan. But she passed away on February 17th of 2022 from an undetectable asymptomatic arterial venal malformation of the brain. But between her birth and her passing was sandwiched a lot of greatness that she brought to this world. She packed a lot of living in her days, and she loved school. She was an undergrad scholar athlete. She was senior female athlete of the year at her 5A high school. She was a national merits finalist. She got a full ride academic scholarship for biomedical engineering. She graduated in 5 years with a master's. Did an assistantship at the University of Iowa in biomedical engineering. And doing all of that, she never got less than an A from kindergarten through her master's degree. So she didn't get that from us, we're pretty sure. She figured that out on her own.
Definitely
not even an A-. And I remember when she was in elementary school, and I would say, Molly, someday it's going to happen and you're going to get like an A- or a B. And she's like, no, Mom, it's not going to happen. And she made it through all of those years. So it sounds like she was just an academic, like a scholar. She was a 16-time varsity letter winner in a 5A school. She ran cross country, played lacrosse. She was in student government. She could do it all. And I know we had conversations with her about, Molly, you got to, sometimes too much, like you can't do everything. And she's like, I can do it and I'll balance it. And she did, which is amazing. Given all that, Molly was a wonderful daughter. She and her sister Megan were easy for us to raise. They might have made us look kind of good, but really they made us better people. She was a wonderful, wonderful sister and best friend to her sister Megan. She was a loving fiance. She was 5 months from her wedding to Drew, her fiance, and they were soulmates. And so unfortunately, while we were planning a wedding, we had to stop and plan her funeral and cancel a wedding, which was very, very challenging. So being able to tell her story and then to work with an organization that we've started with, Molly's Miracles, has really helped us hold her legacy, the things that she did, and then also help us with our grief. Molly was a true friend. We knew a lot of her friends, but in her passing, we've met people that we didn't even know that she knew and she was helping. And then she was a strong and faithful Christian. So doing all of that, one of her amazing traits was that she was very humble. She brought a lot of joy, but she was very humble. And we discovered lots of things that she had done that we didn't even know about to bring light to the world. So with that, she also was an adventurer. She climbed 14ers. She loved the natural world. She hiked a lot, just did amazing things in the world. And though she's not physically with us, we want to continue to carry on some of the many things that she does by bringing light to the world.
Ma'am, I am the crier on the show, and I'm really working hard right now. I'm really working hard. So, wow, thank you for that story, and thank you for bringing her to our attention. Sincerely.
Absolutely. Yeah, she was a gift to the world. She was a gift to us and a gift to the world. And one of her friends from high school said, it would be so easy to be jealous of Molly because everything she did, she could do well, but you couldn't not like her because she was so kind and she made friends with everybody. And she crossed a lot of groups. She just, she was a connector of people for sure. And so she brought friends together who now remain in friend groups that she sort of helped create. So she was pretty amazing person.
When I was first sitting down and reading her story, that's one of the things I picked out on. Like a lot of times when you see somebody that's extraordinarily good at something, they have they're a great athlete, and even a great athlete, usually it's like, I'm really good at this one sport. Maybe I'm okay at another one, or kind of good at another one, but then I'm not academically on that level. It's so it's almost unbelievable to see, like you said, the different facets of her life, where in different friend groups and different athletic groups to scholarship groups to volunteer and helping people. She really excelled extremely high at an extremely high level in all sorts of spectrums of life. That's one of the things that really stood out to me.
Yeah, thank you for that. So like I said, we learned a lot from her, and she, at a very young age, started volunteering and asking to do things. She was very young when we started working at the food bank, and then she had long, beautiful blonde hair, which she donated multiple times to Locks of Love. That she would get her hair cut really short so that she could donate her hair. She did so many things. She volunteered at St. Mary's Hospital.
Yeah, she followed her sister's footstep. That was in Iowa City during school. After class every day, they'd go volunteer at the hospital. But all of these things, we never pushed any of this on them or on Molly specifically. She Locks of Love, Adams Camp, things she used to volunteer for. She came to us with that. How she found out about it, she just looked for ways to help people.
She saw a need and pulled it. Yeah.
What a woman.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Sometimes people say, is there anything that, like, what was the downside? Like somebody has to have a fault. And I would say her thing was she was very stubborn, which is why she was good at everything. Because if she couldn't do something, she would work until she could do it. So that was a gift as well.
That's awesome. So now that Molly's gone, there's Molly's Miracles, or not gone, but she's living through Molly's Miracles. Tell us a little bit more about Molly's Miracles as an organization.
Well, Seth, let me. I guess we'll start with the name. We sat in a neurological hospital in Northern California, unfortunately, and we're sitting there with obviously our family, Drew's family, and their priest, Father Mario, from who was actually working with them with marriage prep. And we were praying for a miracle. Obviously, that miracle was for Molly to live. We never got that miracle, but she immediately delivered 5 miracles for 5 people, 5 separate individuals with 6 of her organs.
So on the day that she lost her life, she gave life to 5 individuals through 6 organs, which is also something that she did when she turned 16 and got her license. She declared that she wanted to be an organ donor. And I remember that day she came home and said, Mom, I put this on my license. So you need to know that. That is, so the miracle of Molly that we had prayed for really changed to be a miracle that Molly provided to others. And that became kind of our mission and vision around Molly's Miracles, is to bring light to the world through acts of service, which is what Molly did when she was physically with us. And we want to carry that legacy for her.
So that is our mission statement.
And many of the employees, that she was a biomedical engineer for a company in California, and many of the people came and met with us that she worked with. And one of them I had never met before, and she just held my hand and said, just know that Molly was light to us. She was light in the world. And so we kind of put that together to bring light to the world through acts of service.
Very cool.
So that's what we're doing now. Obviously, we're only in this. It's been 17 months since Molly passed, and we're working hard to get this organization up and going. And that's exactly what it is. It's a charitable giving organization formed in Molly's honor, called Molly's Miracles. And through the organization and its many acts of service already, we're trying to carry Molly's spirit and the way she approached everything in life to make a difference, even in her passing to her eternal home. Molly, as we just shared, gave the gift of life to others through the generous gifts of her organ donation. And the organization will continue to live her legacy not only through working with Donate Life here in Colorado and California, who we're already working with. There's many organizations we're working with. We're already giving two scholarships annually at our high school, Chaparral High School in Parker. We will continue to do that annually.
Parker, Colorado.
She volunteered at Adams Camp while in high school and college in the summer, and we've partnered with them providing scholarships to them, volunteering at their camp here in the summer. Various churches, Ave Maria in Parker, where she attended. We've given prayer books to that church and many churches for young children, children's prayer books for them to use during Mass. We're working with Fellowship of Christian Athletes right now, and we've created a partnership where we'll be finalizing details of how we'll be working with them annually. But most importantly, we're looking for additional opportunities. Again, this organization is very young. And I'll back up here a second and maybe hit why we're on this show, Seth and Rob.
Poor judgment.
We don't think for 1 minute that we happen to be sitting right next to each other amongst 60,000 people at a concert was a coincidence. And maybe that by itself could sound like it, but we've got a half a dozen other signs that also smell of divine intervention. And Cindy and I aren't veterans, but let me turn it over to Cindy first and let her share how she's her experience with veterans.
So we are a strongly patriotic family in supporting our military and our veterans. My older brother, Charlie, was a Marine. He was at Camp Lejeune. So he is suffering. He had lymphoma a couple of years ago and now has cancer. And just this week had brain surgery to have a mass removed. And so we're working with VA and getting approval for his health care as well. He is a strong man, and because he was a Marine, right? And still continues to be patriotic and supporting our country. And so we see that firsthand, the work that you guys do for others, which is amazing. My younger brother, Nick, was in the Air Force. And now as a result of that, his work, his profession is a result of that. And so he's appreciative of that. And I have an uncle I'm closely connected with who is a Vietnam veteran, and he works strongly with veterans in the area to provide services and just volunteer support and representing his colleagues or his brothers in arms. He was a Marine in Vietnam as well. So though we aren't personally veterans, it's a big part of our family life, those conversations. And then John has more to add.
Yeah, my father was in the U.S. Army. He enlisted towards the tail end of the Korean War in early 53 and served 4 years as a corporal in a heavy mortar detachment with the 74th Infantry Regiment combat team. He served 4 years, followed by 6 years of Army Reserve, but he did most of his time at Keflavik Air Force Base in Reykjavik, Iceland. But while in the service, he was diagnosed as manic depressed. When he left the service, he continued to battle those demons throughout his life until eventually taking his life at age 51. So as I said, I don't think it's a coincidence, Seth, that we were sitting together. And as we look for opportunities to serve others and bring light to others, we want to find ways to help the individuals you're helping, and those are veterans. So for those who are listening tonight, you can contact us through the website. There's an email. You can reach out to us if you think there's ways that we can partner with you or others that you know that you think we can help. And that can be ways of volunteer work, service projects, or even donations, monetary or other. We're looking for ways, because of our family history, of ways to help veterans. And we see that as another opportunity for Molly to continue helping, and specifically helping veterans as we go forward and grow this organization.
I knew that was going to be a heavy one. When we first talked post concert, we were talking about the show, and I was like, me and Rob have said many times, if the number 22 goes down to 0, we'll cut the show. Not that there's not still problems, but when I was talking to you about that, especially the fact that 22 is not even the real number. Number's 40s, 50s,
44 right now.
44 a day. So twice as much as we're being as we're being fed, by the news or however we're being fed. Either way, we're getting fed this 22, and it's really like 44. And I was talking about us really trying to make an impact on that. And then you're like, my dad was 1 in 22. And I'm like, Jesus, it's a lot. I feel like you guys have trudged through some very heavy stuff. And through trudging through that are now using that strength, obviously, that you have to get through things with Molly's Miracles. It's really cool.
Yeah,
John, Cindy, our audience is givers. And every time we do a show, doesn't matter what it is we have on, people are like, hey, how can I help? And so, and I don't know, long story short, you have the ear of the internet right now, the whole internet, not just part of it. And apparently former President Donald Trump as well. How can people support what you're doing? How can people, what can people do?
Well, there's a variety of things, and donations, we always accept those. And there's a link on the website that talks about how to do that. It's mollysmiracles.org. mollysmiracles.org, which is you can read the whole story. You can look at organ donation. When we started thinking about something that we could do as Molly's Miracles, we really went broad with lots of things, because that's who Molly was. She just didn't have one thing. It wasn't just organ donation, or it wasn't just academics or athletics. So we went broad with a lot of things. So people can find out more by looking at the website. We also do monthly challenges on the 17th of each month, which really don't cost anything, but it just helps people think through their life, just things to help others or help themselves. Like this month's challenge is to do community service, do something small, something big in your community to help somebody out. And so it's got people thinking about, like my brother who was in the service is in Arizona, and he got a bunch of water bottles and coolers and just handed them out to people in the heat. It's those kinds of things. So monetary donations are always accepted and used for service work on behalf of Molly's Miracles. But again, it can be messages that people send. We get, it helps our heart a lot to hear from others. And sometimes it's a matter of us connecting with people and just having conversations. We can help that way. Like John said, we met with a youth group and just talked to them about who Molly was, and talked to them about the paths that they're taking for their lives, and how decisions are important at their age to make a difference for their future. So there's a variety of things that can be done, but I would encourage people to go to the website, check it out, read the stories, and reach out to us either through email or messaging, and we can help with signing up for organ donation. And if people see a need that we can connect with, we're happy to help.
My hetero life mate here is a minor celebrity in the Denver metro area as well, and has a hook with all of the local radio news and things like that. Would you be comfortable if we pass your information on to some of the other organizations so that they can also bring attention to what it is that you're doing?
Please
Absolutely.
do. Please do.
Absolutely.
Like, Mandy loves this guy, so we'd love to get your name up to Mandy.
Thank you. Thank you.
And helping others, that helps us. And we know that. And we know that's what you do too. So we appreciate that.
It's healing. Right. It's so healing for us. Yeah.
Yeah, people just put up with us. They don't really love us. They just kind of hang around. They just see how the wreck is going to go.
Hey, we listened to many of your shows already. We went back to some of your recorded shows, and we're addicted. It's great to hear about some of these organizations, what some of these veterans are doing, and others that aren't veterans that are helping veterans. It's inspiring work that you guys are doing. It's inspiring.
Isn't it? It's super cool.
Yes,
I love that the veteran community takes care of each other. And
Yes.
it's the most passionate person on the planet about it too. And so, yeah, I love that.
I often think of the St. Mother Teresa quote that the problem with our world right now is we've forgotten that we belong to each other. And you are helping people remember that they belong to each other. And that's the best way to help is connection. So thank you.
Can I go backwards and apologize in arrears for our language on some of those shows? Because now I feel really bad to hear that good people are listening to the show. And yeah, I'm so sorry for the things we said.
Hey, Molly may have been an angel, but we aren't. Nothing we haven't heard her say before.
I always say, God is never going to judge me on saying a 4-letter word. It's just the intention of the way I'm using it. So,
and what's in my heart when I'm using the word? Yeah, you're exactly right.
So
Nothing wrong with passion.
There's a lot of that floating around here, rather aggressively.
Well, before we run out of time, I have to beat up Rob for calling me a minor celebrity. I thought that was a big deal. What does the future look like for Molly's Miracles? What things are you? I know we talked about you guys are looking into veterans, veteran programs and so forth, but what other things do you guys have planned already? What are you guys doing next year for 2024 or close out of 23?
Wow, we're there.
That's a great question. We're sort of in our infancy and looking for opportunities. So this is actually really helpful to us and for Molly's Miracles that we can get the word out. We're developing some partnerships with Adams Camp, which is where Molly was a volunteer. And that's a wonderful camp here in the state of Colorado for it's a camp for disabled adults or young adults. And Molly was a volunteer there and formed a lot of friendships through that. So we're working on partnerships there. We're working on Fellowship of Christian Athletes, some partnerships there because both Molly and Drew participated in that through middle school, high school, and Drew even continued in college.
What an excellent organization.
Yes. And so we're looking at that. And again, just looking at how we can help families with organ donation. We recently volunteered at the Donor Dash in Denver, which was a great opportunity to meet other families and thank other families who are donor families and also some recipients and things like that. So we continue to look for ways to work with, Donor Alliance and Donor Network West and organ donations.
And like we said, we're our eyes and ears are open. All your listeners and those in your organization, I hope you help us become much, much more busy in 24. So we're ready. We're ready for ways to help.
Yeah. We're always looking for
sure that's going to happen.
I really like your push towards donor donation. I'm an organ donor.
Me too.
I assumed.
Yeah, can't ride a motorcycle and not be.
One of my absolute best friends, Corey. I don't think you've met her before, but she actually donated a kidney. God, it's been 7 years ago to somebody she should know.
That's good Lord. That's
beyond the dying donation.
We can get pretty dark and negative on this show sometimes, and you forget some of the amazingly positive things that goes on in our little community.
Well, I think a lot of it is addressing and working towards, bringing light in darkness, and without accepting that the darkness is there, talking about it, making it known about, there's no way to bring light to, or to light.
Yep. You're exactly right.
John, Cindy, real quick, what socials are you on? How can people get a hold of you on the socials? And can you give the .org one more time, please?
Yes. So it's mollysmiracles.org. And it's MOLLY and then miracles.org. And then also on Instagram, and it's Molly's_miracles on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you. So this kind of, I think we're kind of wrapping it up. But before we do, you want to take over, give them a spiel?
John, Cindy, so we may have, this is going to be your 2 minutes to shine. We may have glossed over a question that you wanted us to ask. We may have skipped over something, a joke you wanted to tell, something you wanted to say. We may have just completely missed that opportunity and not given it to you. You have the entire world at your fingertips right now, the veteran community. Everybody in the world is listening. Take these next 2 minutes and talk about anything that you want to talk about for the next 2 minutes. It can be your apple pie recipe for all I care. But whatever you want, the world is yours. The microphone is yours. Talk us through it. 2 minutes is all yours.
All right. Like we said, primarily 3 ways we can help, and we're looking to help. We're open for volunteer work to help you or your organization or an organization you know needs help. Service projects, we're there. We have a team of people that will show up and help. Family, friends. So we have a large group already that's standing by. If you need monetary assistance, please share with us, call us, email us. You can do it on the website, and we're here to help you. We'll listen to your cause, and we'll find ways that we can help you. But one lesson I've learned, and it's how Seth and I were able to meet each other, is we really have been proactive in talking to people, approaching people. We really have found that, you cross someone, it seems like they're rude to you. Your first response or reaction may be, wow, that person's rude, and you walk away, or you snap back at them or something. We've really learned that by being proactive, that something's probably happened bad to that person today or yesterday or recently. And so we'll ask them, are you okay? Everything all right? Is there anything we can do for you? Having a bad day? And it's amazing what we found, that people they'll turn around, they'll apologize, and they'll say, you're right, but yeah, here's what's going on. And we sit down, we might have a lunch, and we start talking, and we end up partners. We'll do it while walking on the beach if we see someone sitting down crying or whatever. So when you do that, just telling people, when you do that in life, just kind of keep your eyes and ears open and your mind open. And if someone's rude, they're probably not rude. They're probably having a hell of a tough day. Maybe they lost a family member.
Yeah. And I would say our daughters, Megan and Molly, taught us really the human element of just connecting with people. Molly was a connector, and she reached out to people. And that's what we're saying, is just talk to people, connect with them. When you hear somebody's story, there's always a connection. If you listen, there's some way you can connect with the people. And so it's the same thing that you all do with helping people out. It's just continue to listen and connect others. And we want to be a part of that, because it does bring light to sometimes a dark world. So we appreciate you letting us tell our story and Molly's story. And that's the most important part of being human.
Guys, everybody's carrying a cross, right? We're all carrying one, and we know you deal with these people every day, and we're here to help them carry it. Theirs too.
We deal with these people every day because we are those people. So yeah.
We all have that cross, don't we? Yes, we are. Yep. We know we're not alone. We don't pretend that for 1 minute. We know every time we think of ourselves, we find and we meet someone else that has a tougher story. We know it.
When my hetero life mate here gets excited about something, he's infectious when he gets excited about it. And his enthusiasm you can't help but he ropes everybody else into that enthusiasm. And I can't express enough that this is far and away one of the excuse me. No, wrong button. That this has been one of the most powerful interviews we've had on this show ever. I can count on one hand, and this is on the list.
Well, we hope to be back sometime sharing some more things we've done for veterans, if that's
You are
possible.
welcome here at any time. Anytime. You got the link. You dial in anytime you want.
Thank you.
Awesome. We will.
All right. Well, thanks so much, John Cindy, for being on. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
God
Thank
bless you and your guests. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you again.
Thank you. Dude.
Real quick, how long is it taking you to get your master's?
Yeah, exactly. Like 25 years, man. You're exactly. I'm still working on it. I got a year to go. You're exactly right.
Still working on it. Jesus. This is why, like when we were talking about it, it's like,
And she did hers in biomechanical engineering. Mine's in communications. It's how to talk. I do it all day.
oh man. Well,
One shot. There is a photo I own. Hey, you want to survive the rest of the day? You're going to go ahead and delete that photo. Junior, I know where you sleep.
oh, that's Junior.
I know where you sleep, kid.
Yes.
If a photo pops up of me on a Harley Davidson motorcycle,
Rob Williams Jr. Shoot me a message real quick.
you want to
on
survive?
Messenger. I promise you, you're okay.
It's cold on the street at night. That better not happen, is all I'm saying. Where could that have possibly come
Do
from?
you know how many memes I could make if I knew how to make a meme? I do. I figured it out once.
I wish you could have seen my face going through the car wash yesterday. And I look back and I'm like, what is that square thing on the back of my car? And I walk back and there's a picture of Putin and Kim Jong-un riding a horse together on the back of my truck. I'm like, now I got to get him. Now I got to get him.
Is that who got you? Was Junior?
No, man, it was you. Why are you lying about?
I did not do that one.
Whatever, man.
Listen, hey, I admit
You are the
nothing.
king of pranks. You don't have to admit to anything.
Oh, I didn't do that one.
All right, lie to whoever you want to, man.
Usually, if I did it, I would say, "All right, what's your evidence?"
I'm gonna.
You got
I don't need
video?
it.
Because I just got Adam Robert. Yeah, I can see his full name.
I
I got Adam. Like
Our homeboy, Loyal Life.
Yes, Loyal Life.
God, I love him.
2021. Great dude. Well, he's inside the academy training. I went and removed his valve stem and put
Something else on there.
Pete Penis valve stem. So he texted me after, and he's like, "I think it was you." And I got some other people too. And so him and one of the other, well, both law enforcement guys were like, "We think it's you." And I'm like, "Do you have video? No. Did you print it? Did you get prints?" But no, I'm like, do you have a witness? He's like, no. And I'm like, well, then I'm not too worried about it.
But in our circle of happiness, a mere accusation is enough to allow a retaliation. So, I mean, yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I love pranks. I mean, I'll prank anybody anytime.
Otherwise, how would any of us get our jujitsu belts back after they're tied in knots on the ceiling?
Dude, it's so much more fun to freeze them. If you leave your belt behind the academy and you're like a white belt, blue belt, I'm going to do something funny.
I don't know that Cole knew how to react to that. Dude, he was not prepared for
Me
that.
and him, like ever since the day. But anyway, if you're a senior belt student of mine / another coach, assistant coach, whatever, and you leave your belt behind, like you're a brown belt, bro, I am putting that in the freezer and creating it to be inside of a block of ice. But yeah, me and Cole have been. He said,
his face when he got that belt out of the freezer was.
He messes with me so much now. Like he's got this new comfortability of like messing with me too. Talking about students, if you remember a couple weeks ago, I said, hey, one of our students, Joe, is going through SWAT selection. And as I was sitting here, he's texting me because he came out here to drill a little bit.
I love what I'm hearing. Please tell me you got good news.
Nails.
Please tell me you got good news.
He is qualified as of now.
That's what I'm talking
about.
about.
On the teams yet,
But he's eligible.
He made it through everything. He's done. He soared through shooting, boards, all that other stuff they got to do.
This is what I love. I love that little community down there.
Also, do you know who he is, by the way?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay. Do you know he's the one that did this, right?
I did not. I did not. That's not the person I thought it was.
No, it's him.
Well, then he damn well better have made it onto the SWAT team. That's awesome.
Oh, I just like that, even though he didn't do anything wrong. Just things happen, but I thought it was funny.
Well, good on him. And,
Yeah.
just things like that, and like everything that's gone on in the last 2 months and whatnot. I constantly somebody had me in a head and arm triangle the other day, and they were squeezing the life out of me, and they leaned down there like, "Hey man, I hear you're having a rough time. You doing okay?" And I'm like, I don't know if this is the time to have this conversation, but yeah, I'm doing all right, man. It's not for you. I appreciate your help, man. So thanks. Yeah, people are kind of awesome.
Yeah. There's something we've talked about before, but I know we preach a lot of jiu-jitsu, but there's something about that, like being at a point in a situation with somebody you train with all the time, every day. Some of us every day, some of us once a week, but you're getting choked, and if he didn't have the love and respect to let go, like they could legitimately kill you eventually.
Yeah.
But with just a nice little taparooski.
Yeah, it's my
taparoo.
It is my favorite submission escape.
Yeah, tap. But it builds a sort of camaraderie. I think that's one of the only ways to build the sort of camaraderie you get with guys that go downrange and do combat situations. Not just being in the military. I mean, downrange stuff.
I know
is different.
The downrange Colfax.
Colfax is rougher than a lot of places I went downrange.
It is.
But then I grew up on Colfax. So
Junior went on a ride along with a couple of our friends.
Yes,
and had a blast. What, did you run into him?
No.
Did I tell you?
No, you told me, but I heard he did ride along.
The kid was born and raised in the burbs. That's
Yeah.
all he knows is the burbs, and to get to ride up and down Colfax and like kind of see all the train wreck go down.
Last year, I had the privilege. Year before last, I had the privilege of doing
I remember
weekend night shift with one of our sergeant buddies in an entertaining district.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I grew up on Colfax, and it's different when you're in a squad car and actively, going on calls and things like that. It's interesting, wild experience.
That's the word I'd use.
If any of you have a law enforcement friend, you know what? You want to gain some respect, or not just gain respect, gain some knowledge on what is actually going on out there in the real world. Ask them to do a ride along. If they tell you no, it's
there's probably a reason.
Be respectful. There's probably a reason you shouldn't go on a ride along. But I did year before last. It's my first one.
What are your thoughts on the veteran population and testosterone supplementation?
Here's what I do know. I know that there's a bunch of studies, and I'm not going to give you numbers or any exact because I'll screw it all up. But I know that there is some incredible studies done that the testosterone drop in combat deployed, regular military is much higher than civilian. I know that the testosterone drop from combat arms is even greater than that. And I know the testosterone drop from, comparing to a normal, comparable civilian is insanely higher. And I do know that one of the things that is incredibly important for your body as a whole is to have your hormones balanced out.
When Iraq and Afghanistan were in the thick of things, 07, 08, 09, that time frame, head injuries were abound. And we thought that the traumatic brain injury was going to be the defining thing of our generation of veteran. And instead, what's happening is they're finding that hormone imbalances, including low testosterone, are what is greater affecting our population for a variety of ailments that go along with that low T. So with that, next week on this show, we're going to have a gentleman named Ted Snyder. He is the owner of Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Basically, it's hormone replacement for men. Women, if you're listening to this show, gentlemen, as you're listening to this show, this is going to be one of those interviews you're going to want to tune into. He's going to throw some numbers at you, throw some like, hey, if you have this, that kind of thing. and tune in and listen to what the man has to say. He is an expert in his field, and you really want to hear what this guy has to say. It's going to be a good show. The week after that, what are your thoughts on psilocybin in the veteran community?
I don't know what that is.
Mushrooms.
Oh, I was thinking of like some medication, and I was thinking
Well,
with like
right now it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm medication like chemical.
I get you.
I don't have an opinion yet.
Okay.
And I feel like everybody, like I'm a very opinionated person,
Mhm.
unless I honestly don't have an opinion on something, and I don't have one on that right now, because my initial thought is we're gonna trip mushrooms to like medicate ourselves or something like that. But now I've read just enough to know that that's not what's going on, and that I don't know. I've not spent the hours of studying to find out more, but I have heard a lot of good things.
So August 7th, we have a group on called Visionary Veterans. And what they do is they kind of help veterans through the process of like microdosing and psilocybin therapy and things like that.
Were you saying Groupon? They have a Groupon for us?
I don't know if they have a group on.
Coming on.
There's a group coming on, although a Groupon would be
I
banging.
was like, huh.
That would be kind of awesome.
Maybe I could try this.
You can, as a matter of fact.
I know
I've got
I
some
can.
friends. As a matter of fact, they're listening right this
I'm
second.
sure you've got some friends. You're like, "Oh, I got these friends. They're down the street,
This-
around the corner.
this
This
is
is
not-
7-Eleven. I'm messing with you.
As bad as things are in Colorado these days, one of the things we're getting right is how we're approaching legalizing some of the things that deserve and should be legalized so they can be studied and their effects can be studied. And not make it quite as challenging for people to get help that they need, no matter what it may be. We let our guests go and we forgot to do the safety brief with them. What a bummer. Hey, folks, if you have something for the safety brief, it's not for me. I'll say it's helped a friend of mine. Oh, well, glad to hear it. Melroy, Kyle. Oh, yeah, Kyle.
Yeah. We grew up together.
Oh, really? Oh,
like,
okay.
Little, like,
Not for me, but I will say it's helped a lot of people. Glad to hear it. Gail Davis, Josh Goodwin. Folks, if you have something for the safety brief, now is the time. Type it in the comments if you got something you want us to throw out there.
well, I've definitely got one for the safety.
So normally when you were in the military on Friday before the end of final formation and your commander kicked you to the curb for the long weekend, you would get your weekend safety brief. But because we broadcast our show on Mondays, we have to give you the week safety brief. So it has to last you till next Monday. So your safety brief is going to get you through Monday through Friday, and it's going to last into the weekend. So if you got one, throw it out there. Now is the time. Let's
Dude,
see
if
what
we
you got, man.
If we don't get a whole bunch, we're going to have to do more than one each.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So my first and foremost, this is Monday. We have a work week ahead of us. If you happen to be doing work with a trailer, lift the fuck up.
Well, I guess
all the way up.
I guess I can follow up with that one.
Okay.
Razors can be dangerous and can drastically affect your facial hair. So, folks, hey, practice safety when you're using those electric razors. Make sure you leave the guards in place. Hey, Josh Goodwin, Randy Alquist. Great. Our listeners are like having conversations on our show. That's awesome.
Great. And no safety brief from them?
But they're not going to throw anything out there for a safety brief. Yeah, exactly. Jerks.
Don't drink and drive.
That's the obvious one. Yeah, never drink and drive.
Just
Good
because
Lord.
Just because you have a job doesn't mean you're not an alcoholic.
It is going to be very, very hot here in the Colorado metro area over the coming week. Folks, make sure that you are staying hydrated. There are people doing construction on my street right now. So every once in a while, once a week or so, I'll grab a 24 Gatorade and I'll bring it out to them just to make sure that those guys are staying hydrated. Make sure that you are watching those that are working outside and vulnerable.
I didn't think about that. That's a nice little. I like to find those random little things you can do besides just saying hi to the gas
You're the
station.
king of that shit.
Yeah, but I never thought about like just doing.
When I had COVID, you left groceries sitting on my front steps.
And movies.
And movies.
What movie set was that?
It was
so good. It was like
The Patriot. It was
Patriot, Gladiator.
Yeah. It was like all the stuff you're gonna be sitting on your
Conan.
butt. Yeah. I I watch Conan constantly.
I don't know. There was like 3 to 5. It was like this 3 to 5 box set of just like epic dude movies.
Yeah, just like threw it on the porch, rang my doorbell, and like ran away. I was like, did I just get ding dong ditched? What happened? We're about to cut it.
And some cheesy poos.
But anyway, the cheesy poofs were very popular. You got one more before I cut us loose?
I don't.
All right. Next week, Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic with Ted Snyder. The week after, Visionary Veterans. Don't drink more than you can sweat out on a 5-mile run. I mean, that's sound advice, I guess. Yeah, good call. So yeah, folks, make sure you get your workouts in, and it's good to see you all. Thank you so much for Molly's Miracles for being a part of the show. And obviously, we will see you next week, folks. And thanks for being here.